Originally, the All Star Jam was just a way to bring more attention to my podcast. Hey, look at me. Get my name in front of as many people as possible. The All Star Jam kind of grew its own legs. It became its own thing.
It's insane. It makes you crazy. You want to run away. And you think to yourself, like when you're nervous before a show, that you'll play the first 10 notes and then you'll get over it. That does not happen. You remain at odds with yourself the entire time you're on stage until the last note of the last song is played. Because everything can still fall apart completely at any time. We are metal musicians. When you hear that term, you might think that I'm talking about playing heavy metal. What I'm referring to is the other use of the word metal. The one that's spelled a little differently. It's M-E-T-T-L-E. And it means your ability to rise to the occasion. Because getting on stage when you have not practiced with a band is about the most frightening, nerve-wracking thing a person, especially a musician, who prides themselves on being good at their instrument, can possibly do.
Why did I pick old school metal songs? Why the fuck not? I mean, if you're going to do a jam, blues jams are fun. They're fun to watch. It's interesting, but it's not the same as watching people play metal together. There's a certain us against the world vibe, and you get to share that like men in battle.
And there was something really special. I think it brought us all together. The talk that came in the days after the show was a conversation of camaraderie and brotherhood, and I would not trade that for anything.
The players that we have in the jam, it's usually first come, first serve. I put the word out on the podcast, so like somewhere in January, I'll say something about, well, we're planning on doing a jam, and I'll hear from quite a bit of people pretty quickly. But then it's the sorting through which ones we want to have in the jam, which ones make sense with other players, and people that are the most gung-ho about it. I think the people that are more on board and understand what it is that we're doing and are excited about it. We want people that are happy to be there, not like, Miner's putting on this thing I got to go do. I don't want people like that. I want people that understand the magic and the specialness of the evening, getting all of our peers in the same room to perform for each other. That's what it's about. We're there to perform for each other. And, the public's welcome to come watch as well. And so makes for a great night.
But this time it was different. And in a way, I think it was better. Like, it was more truthful. Like the first All-Star Jam was not so much a jam. It was people got together and kind of fixed themselves up and prepared and did things that they knew. No bad endings, no real train wrecks, no moments of uncertainty. So it's really, you have to fly by the seat of your pants. And people avoided that the first year we did it. But this time, I think we saw the raw nerve, the group of people who were walking that narrow threshold between order and chaos.
They might get the train on two wheels going around the corner, and then somehow pull it back down. Them are the guys that I want in the jam. I want to see them face adversity together and see how it comes back together.
Put your arms around each other and drink beer and raise your glasses and enjoy life, free of the burden of needing to try to look like you know what the fuck you're doing. So,
well, we started the night out with a rock academy band called Vanderveer, and these kids, you know, they played old school rock already. That's what they're learning to play. That's what their curriculum is, you know, I guess. And so when they played, man, it was really cool to see the kids digging in like that. You know, they did a really good job.
These kids are 14 and 15 years old, all right? And they're better than some of you motherfuckers.
yeah. People don't become family until they face a challenge together. It's easy to be friends with somebody when shit's good, you know? I just think it's brilliant for all of us to get together and not really do so well. And we still love each other. It's so great.
Any given weekend, you could go out and see a polished band that's been rehearsing and they know all their parts and all that. And this is wonderful. We have a lot of good bands around here like that. But what's special about the All Star Jam is most of these people have never played together. And they're just, working off of instinct. And we're watching it unfold at the same time they are. And so anything could happen. So it's got that kind of energy to it. It's like, are they going to make it? Is this going to happen? Are they going to make it through this thing? So that's what's cool about it. So there was 3 songs long that played after Vanderveer. And Chris Avey played guitar in that band. Mike Swanson was singing. Greg Hipskin was on drums. I've seen him play before, but I haven't seen him play hard rock songs, I guess. Just regular rock songs, and he was hitting the drums extra hard, it seemed like, you know. And then, of course, Mark Dettel on bass, and he looked great, had his tattoo sleeves on. He's always out to put on a show, you know. He's always in for the fun part of it. It's like, hey, let's make this thing a thing.
It was an incredible experience. I was asked to do it again this year to fill in for somebody, and I was a little reluctant because I did it last year, and I wanted to make sure everybody that didn't get a chance got an opportunity last year or this year and stuff.
We want all you hear y'all singing this with us here.
Incredible time. The show itself was awesome. I wasn't sure how we could top the last year's, the first year, and it was better, I guess, if that's possible. For me personally, it was a really great opportunity to get to know my band guys a little bit better. I of course know them from the scene a little bit. It was nice just to be able to spend a couple extra hours with them and develop a little extra bond that maybe we wouldn't have if we just stepped on stage. I know that takes away a little bit of the magic and the flying by the seat of your pants thing, but you'll have that. There was a couple other cheaters too, so I don't feel so bad. A lot of fun. Actually, I'd do it again next year if it happened to be asked. So,
I guess Brian is doing his interview segment separately from mine, so we'll just have to wait and see if Brian just doesn't wear sunglasses doing it. Don't wear sunglasses, Brian.
So I heard within the first 5 minutes of Travis talking, he was defining words for people. Telling me I shouldn't wear sunglasses or whatever. But, let's see. I think it's pretty cool. You can't hold a true metal man back, can you?
Minor Disturbance Radio, just like rock and roll, is something that everyone can become involved with. It's not about rock and roll is about taking the Band-Aid off. It's about ripping it off and letting it bleed. And people need it. A little bloodletting.
Everybody that was at the jam, everybody that watches this podcast, they're all my friends. I consider you a friend because we're all carrying the same flag. I might be the face that you see on the TV when you're watching the episodes, or the voice that you hear, but I'm speaking for really everybody. And I think that being honest about how you feel and who you are is a breath of fresh air. I don't put on any kind of airs about myself anymore. I used to when I was younger. Of course, all rock and roll musicians or people want to be looked at and perceived as something bigger than they are. And once you settle into the fact that you are normal and you are just a human being, and you have faults and you're not the best, that's when you can really have true friendships with people. And all the people that watch this podcast get that, and that makes them my friend. Every once in a while, in a jam, there's a real special thing that happens. You hit a chord, with the grouping of people, and with Devastation Wagon, aside from like the bad starts, because it took a while for everybody to get on the same page. When that machine locked up, it was something. Ted Renner, anything that he's in is cool. So, Ted and the bass player of this band, they've played together. They're in Hong Kong Sleepover. But, a bass player locking up with a singer guitar player, that's completely different than locking up with the drummer. And he and Jim Van Hefty locked up. And man, Jimmy's one of them kind of bouncy rock drummers. And the way that he played that kit that night was beautiful. It all blended so well.
I was thrilled to be part of it because you play a band with people for 5, 6, 7 years, and you really get comfortable. You know where they're at. You can tell this guitar player is going to be there, the drummer is going to be here. I know what's going to go on, and it kind of gets to be habit. But when you get up on stage with 3 guys, 2 of which you've never met until like 10 minutes before you take the stage. There's a little bit of a degree of uncertainty. Bill Billy, the guitar player that we played with, he didn't even know I was going to play guitar until literally like 5 minutes before we stepped on stage, because somehow we'd missed that in the communication back and forth. But I think it's a great thing that he does, taking these guys, mixing and matching them. We go from being, professionals that play, in bands and have been playing in these bands for a long time, all the way back to literally when we're high school kids, starting from scratch, learning who these people are, playing songs we've never played before. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great idea. I hope it continues to happen because I enjoy it tremendously.
Take a bite of the son of a bitch. Don't mess around, don't you give me no switch. Come on, baby, and eat the rich. Come on, baby, and eat the rich.
I don't know how this part of the night came about, but all of a sudden, Bill Michaels from Dwyer and Michaels' morning show on 97X, he's all of a sudden in a super group, and he's going to play drums. Now, I know that he said on his show that he hadn't played drums since he was in high school. So, I mean, he's not an all-star, obviously, but there's always room for something like that. I thought it would be fun to see. So he got to play drums. It was actually pretty good.
The holy ordained lords of ecstasy, Hole, took the stage. That's Matt Truitt, and you never really know what to expect with Matt.
Okay, so when I invite Matt Truitt to be in the All Star Jam, you never know what you're gonna get. I mean, this guy comes up with the craziest shit, but I love it. One of the best frontmen I've seen, and funny. The guy used to be a stand-up comedian, so totally entertaining. And of course, Kenny, the owner of Rascals, was playing drums, and he surprised me on that one. He did some really cool fills. Dave Abdo is a great bass player and a great dude, hilarious. You could tell he's a professional, super tight. And I was surprised to see Neil Kuhlman from 3 Years Hollow playing guitar in that group. It was a lot of fun. It seemed like, I know that he had a short amount of time to kind of figure out whatever set they were doing. So he did a really good job picking that up quick.
When the dewdrops cry and the cats meow, I will take you there. I will show you how.
Minor Disturbance podcast. It's Minor Disturbance Radio podcast. We didn't know what to call it. The only reason I called it Minor Disturbance is because, that was when I was in high school. That was the band that I thought I was going to be in when I grew up. Minor Disturbance, because it had my name in it, and I would draw it on my notebooks and shit. When I started this podcast, I was like, well, it's got to be Minor Disturbance, because I didn't figure it was going to make it past one episode anyway. So I just named it that. What we do on our podcast, I think, is unique in the sense that, of course, we talk about all kinds of things like rock and roll and, the broad sense of rock and roll, music in general. But we put emphasis on local people or people that are in the scene here. and pick their brains and talk about their experiences and their dreams, you know, because we really like to get close to the bone and really talk to the person about their aspirations and their want for this thing called rock stardom, you know. And I think that's what's special about it is we all kind of have the same aspirations, you know. It's admitting it to everybody else that brings us all together. So that's what's cool about the podcast.
Why did I come to the podcast and then never go away? That's a marvelous question. I think any rock and roller, anybody who is involved in performance, has to, on some level, be a little bit of an attention whore. I like having great conversations. It doesn't always have to be about music and things like that. It turns out that musicians, for one reason or another, are some of the more introspective and thoughtful people that you'll run into. They have a tendency to sort of know a little bit about a lot of stuff. Brian gave me the opportunity because he knew I would never shut up. He knew I would never shut up. So, I mean, he'll tell me to shut up, and I deserve it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to shut up. I will continue to talk, and I think if you're going to be on a podcast and you're going to do a show, you better like talking. So I guess in summation, I like to talk. I like to talk. I like to listen too, but I think I like to talk just a little bit more than I like to listen. So I think that's why I came and never left. I love being on the show.
This podcast is just as much Travis's as it is mine. I mean, of course, it's called Minor Disturbance Radio because I'm Brian Minor and that. But if I had to do it again, I think I'd name it like Quad City. I think I originally was thinking like Quad City Rockers or something, but that's just so lame, you know. And so I named it Minor Disturbance. And when he came on, I just had him as a guest one time because I thought that he would be pretty fun to talk to. He's always been a good conversationalist. So he came on and we had a great episode. And I think like the next week or something he had said anytime, have me anytime. And most guests say that, you know, after they do it, they're like, oh, I'll do it anytime. But Travis like meant it. And I called him 2 weeks later and was like, I don't have a guest this time again. Will you come on? And he did, and he never left. So, and he was on every episode after that. So, and what a blessing to have Travis on the team because he's so intelligent and insightful. I mean, almost to a fault because I have a hard time understanding the word he's saying half the time. And I have to kind of pull him back down to, layman's terms, you know. So do you like it or not, Travis? I don't care about the molecular makeup of the fucking stratosphere. Tell me if you like it or not. You know, I'm sure you can relate. If you watch the podcast, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So.
You to be my tonight. You need me, you tease me.
So Matt Finn starts playing the drum beat. I'm assuming it must be a Motley Crue song. I'm not a huge fan of Motley Crue, so I don't know all of the deep cuts. But as I was watching him play it, I realized that he was born to play this drum beat, and that guy hits drums harder than any human should ever. He's a destroyer of drums.
Matt Finn embodies everything that is rock and roll. Amazing drummer. The energy that he has is just top notch. It makes you want to rock. You know what I mean? There's no way around it. Jason Hamilton's one hell of a metal singer. That's all I can say about that. That guy was killing it. It was fun to see AJ up there busting out his rock and roll moves. Seemed like he was having a really good time.
Also, in Just the Tip, the guitar player was Mark Watson. And there's a special connection. I had never met Mark Watson, and I wished I could have talked to him a little bit more that night. But at the first MDR Jam, I played the Pink Jackson guitar, the same guitar that I played at this MDR Jam. And that guitar has been previously owned by a number of people, all who have been either in the audience or on stage at the jam. Mark Watson, I believe, used to own that guitar. I think Mark used to play in Lynn Allen, and he played that guitar for quite some time in that band. And then he sold it, and then Mark Dettel had it. And then Mark Dettel sold it, and a guy by the name of John Dawson had it, and then he sold it to Music Go Round, and I ended up picking it up for a song and dance, and every single one of those guys has come back to me and tried to get that guitar back, so you're not getting that guitar back, fellas. It's mine. The Pink Jackson is mine forever. Sorry.
Bobby Tequila and the Chasers. Bobby Thornton, what a great metal vocalist too. Hazen was playing in that band. Jeff Hazen, who's a guitar player in my band as well. Dive Bomb. So he's a great guitar player and a lot of fun. Another great guy.
Bobby Tequila and the Chasers, that's the band that had one of my best friends of all time playing bass. Eric Chicken Boy Kranz. He's pretty much been a fixture in the local scene.
Unfortunately, I think he was playing that bass a little too hard, and he was kind of pushing the amp. I think we're getting some clipping in the audio you might be able to hear, but he was having a ball, and he's so much fun. Mark DeKalb is a fun drummer to watch. He's always just so charismatic behind the kit. You immediately smile as soon as you see him.
Yeah, the jam was just a blast. I was excited to do it, and I was looking forward to it. And my band, Bobby Tequila and the Chasers, we had a blast. Talking to a guy earlier, I won't say his name, but he was nervous about it. I'm like, man, there's nothing to be nervous about. This is just guys having fun. And it was one of those things where the next morning I woke up and I still had a smile on my face. But it seemed like got up there and within a blink of an eye, it was over. Definitely, I would definitely do it again. I got to do it last year. I feel really honored, and I got to meet a lot of people that I know from Facebook and stuff, and I've seen out before. But I actually got to meet them and talk to them, and just a great night. Just a lot of fun.
How you doing out there? Let me hear you.
And thanks MDR for putting it on. I know a lot of work went into it. I appreciate all the effort, and I'm just really honored to be part of it.
Miners Misfits. What a cool name, huh? That band had one of my favorite drummers in the world in it, Terry Hodges, who was in Drop Hammer with me back in the old days. And I'm so thankful that he came down and was a part of this because, like I said before, this jam ended up being like a drum fest. The drummers were just amazing. And Terry definitely belongs in that crowd and in that group because he's one of the best.
Terry Hodges played an extraordinarily solid set. The guy can play 16th notes on 2 feet endlessly, seemingly, with no interruptions.
Woo! This is Terry Hodges on the drums. Woo!
I think Tony Carducci might be an alien. He plays insane technical things on the guitar that I don't know that any of the rest of us mere mortals or earthlings can comprehend. Carducci. Oh my goodness. You weirdo. Why do you practice so much? Stop practicing. It's boring, the rest of us.
Now, when I went into the idea of getting into this jam and doing this, I was completely blown away by the amount of support that I got from everybody involved. It was 110% supportive, and I loved every minute of that. It wasn't a look, see what I can do kind of thing. It was a holy shit, you're gonna try that, and and you pulled it off kind of thing. I would undoubtedly do it again and again and again and again. I love doing this. It's a lot of fun. It's probably one of the best musical community things I've ever seen. Westmusic did sponsor the MDR Jam this year with some free guitar setups and bass guitar setups and free strings. I still have all of those coupons here at the store. Everybody is more than welcome to come down who participated and to pick up their card, and I'll take care of their instruments for them, no charge. So it is still available. I'll have them at my bench right over in the repair center. I cannot stop practicing. I play every day. I work every day with guitars. That's all I do. My life is work guitars, go home, play with guitars, and build guitars, and practice guitars, and it's what I do. So yeah, no, not gonna stop. Too bad.
Perfect. All right, man. I think we got enough.
I never had seen a band try to faithfully do Bark at the Moon. You know, that's a pretty tough song, really. There's a lot of different parts to it, and they're very specific. So if you get it wrong, it just isn't gonna sound good. And my hat's off to those guys for doing that. You know, speaking of mutants, Nick Abbott is he kind of almost is like Carducci in some way. So when Nick Abbott started playing the end solo of Bark at the Moon using all harmonized sweep arpeggios, I was standing behind the bass amp looking directly at Tony Carducci, who's looking at me going, oh my god, holy crap, this guy's doing the thing. Brian was in that band, but I don't know, I really just didn't pay attention to him.
Sticky Socks, that was the band that I sang for. And I mentioned before that it was John Nelson, Doug Barry, and Nick Abbott, who back in the old days, back in the Clipper days, and some people know what I'm talking about when I say that, was in a band called Wrecking Machine, and they were killing it back then. Nick Abbott is an amazing guitar player, and sometimes you forget how good these dudes are. And I got thrown into that mix because them three wanted to play together again, and I thought, what a better place to do it than at the jam. And they needed a singer, and they said they wanted me to do it. I don't know why, but I did it. It was a fun time, man. I was nervous as shit though. John Nelson is just a fucking fabulous drummer. Luckily, I got to be in a band with him for a while. He was always the guy that I looked forward to seeing every time I showed up to a gig. You know, I couldn't wait to hang out with him and talk shop, you know.
I think the emotional roller coaster ride of it just really made it a release. Like it allowed everyone to face your fear of failure and even having some failure. Some of the songs did not go well. It didn't go off without a hitch, but everybody kept smiling and we all laughed and clowned and did our rough starts and bad endings, and by the end of the night, we could all look each other in the eye. You know? We could look each other in the eyes.
Man, what can I say about Crucial Taunt besides that Donnie was killing it? She's a good singer, and it was cool to pop our cherry and have you know, have a girl in the jam for the first time. What was beautiful about it is while she's singing, she's got people in the crowd. You know, she's just having such a good time. You could tell that she just loved being up there, and people in the crowd, I love you, Dee, and she's, I love you too. It was beautiful. It's cool, man. Ronnie Cook, who was playing bass in Crucial, he sweats rock and roll, and fucking he is rock and roll.
So I had to actually learn some Vivian Campbell guitar parts, which I thought I was just going to be able to learn it off the cuff. You know, Holy Diver has 4 chords in it, but he never plays them in the same order anywhere in the entire song. So it's all these subtle little differences that I had to try to remember, and it was ridiculous. So somehow I managed to eke my way through it, and boy was I relieved when that was over. But everybody in the band Crucial Taunt with me on stage were terrific to work with, and we had a really great time.
And of course, Travis, in his typical fashion, stood there facing the drummer the entire time because he's scared or something. I don't know what the... Like, come on, Travis, turn around. Look at the audience. Don't be afraid.
Don't you see what I need? Gotta get away.
Chris Cushman was also in that band. I didn't know he was that damn good. That is a good drummer. Amazing. I think he could be in Dream Theater if he wanted to.
I was pretty nervous because actually I'd never met the guys in my group before, so that was the first time for me ever getting up and performing with a bunch of people I had never even met, let alone rehearsed with. It went by so quick, and by the time I was off the stage, it was like a blur already. It was, you know, all the excitement and the nerves and everything. Yeah, when Brian approached me to do the jam, you know, I was flattered, and I thought it sounded like something that would be fun to try because I'd never done anything like that before. And I was kind of proud to be the first female in it because I know last year, you know, it was all guys, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to throw a chick in the mix and show them that chicks can do some hard rock and metal too. So.
First band breakfast. I don't know who came up with the name Kate's Bush. That is marvelous.
Kate's Bush was a surprise. That was Doug Brundy singing, and they broke the rules. You know, I told them old school metal, and that was the rule. But of course, these guys, they have to go and break them and pick 90s songs or whatever that aren't old school metal. But I'm kind of glad they did, because the song selection was great. They did a Police tune that was beautiful. And you got to watch that whole set. Mark Wagler did an excellent job at filling everything in, and that Les Paul was beautiful, and it sounded awesome. And of course, Wes Weber on drums. I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with him. He's one of them drummers that's always practicing, always on top of his game. You know, it's his life. And I gotta apologize to him, because the drum cam, the cool drum cam that you see in the videos, died or something, shut off before their set, so he didn't get that cool little drum view from behind him that everybody loves so much. Sorry, brother.
This might not be well known by a lot of people, but the bass player was Eric Cran's Chicken Boy's younger brother. He played beautifully.
I didn't really know what to expect. I got to meet some interesting people. I got to meet some good people. Mark Wagler, very good guitar player. It was a lot of fun. Song choices and stuff that we did, we just kind of, we just brainstormed one night. I think Mark's the one that wanted to break the rules and play the 90s stuff, to be honest. Which is whatever, that's rock and roll, you gotta break the rules. You're supposed to anyway. It was a great turnout, seeing everybody there, showing support and love for everybody, all the musicians in the area. It was really cool. I felt honored to be a part of it. Doing the heavier songs, I am not 21 anymore. I'll give myself that. It was a little bit harder than I thought towards the end, but I just wanted to try to push it to another level by hitting a song that's, I wouldn't normally sing, being that Police song, because his register is way higher than mine. I would definitely do it again next year. Definitely do it again. If they ask me. I am kind of a handful. Had a great time. I got drunk. I had a great time. That's what we're supposed to do.
And Broga Pants returned again for the second jam. Mike Gustafson needs to be on the show. That's all I know. He needs to come on and talk to the MDR boys. Let's do a podcast, buddy.
The last actual jam band of the night was called Broga Pants, and by the time they got up there, I think the room was nice and cooked, and maybe the band was too. They started playing the low strings on their instruments, and I shit my pants a little because it shook something loose down in my guts. The bass rig all night belonged to Shannon Ford, who is the bass player for Broga Pants, so he has a much more nuanced relationship with that amp than anybody else did. So when he plugged it in, it just did stuff that it didn't do all night, and I was right behind it the whole time, so I knew what that amp did. So when he plugged into it and I heard how he got that amp to sound, I just thought, whoa, it was just heavy as fuck.
It's kind of excitement and nervousness all at once, especially when you're playing last and you're seeing all these great caliber players and the songs they pick, and you're like, I gotta top that, like quoting Mark Duddle, we're fucked. What do they say? I'm not a soloist, I'm a rhythm guy. And so I picked the easiest solo I could find and figure out real quick. It was really nice to see a lot of cool guitar players. And the musicianship and the friendliness, no competition. When Brian started the podcast, I was kind of blown away, and I would love to be on the MDR podcast. As far as the guys that I've had the pleasure of jamming in Broga Pants for the MDR All Star Jam, it was a pleasure jamming with Steve Merritt. He's kind of intimidating. The first time I played with him in his basement, I was like blown away. And it's kind of fun because when we were practicing at Skylark, we just kind of faced each other and we were kind of feeding that energy. You know, I step forward and he's just staring at me, and here comes the groove, like 10-ton hammer, just in your face. You know, it was a blast. I have much respect for the dude. Shannon Ford, that guy just surprises me every time. And Jacob, he's just a badass, and he's a great front man. He blows me away every time. Brian, Travis, Rascals, Danielle, all the hard work you did, man, we really appreciate it, and we want to come back. I don't know if it'll be his Broga Pants, maybe it'll be Shannon Pants or something like that, Brian Pants, you know, Jacob Pants. So, hope to be there again.
I think what I'd really like to do more than anything is to say thank you. Thank you so much to all the musicians and the audience for showing up.
I want to thank everybody that showed up to the jam. All the people that were just there to witness what it is.
And of course, Brian for organizing it and going to all that trouble. And Kenny from Rascals for hosting the event and being interested. I think he was interested personally in doing it, and I think that's terrific that he's able to do something with his business that he's personally interested in doing.
And of course, the musicians that were in the jam, I mean, they took a Saturday night off to go play for free for the jam. So, you know, these are all working musicians, so they had to take a Saturday off, and I appreciate that.
Thanks to the musicians that loaned us their equipment.
I want to thank the people that brought the back line. I mean, Kenny had his drums up there.
Jeff Hazen provided his extremely loud Eddie Van Halen amplifier. Shannon Ford gave us his Galen Kruger 800 RB amplifier, which is great. And to Mikey Gustafson for providing his Mesa Boogie amplifier. I think it was a combination of Kenny's kit and then Matt Finn's snare drum, which some of the other drummers, I guess, were sort of sheepish about hitting it too hard. And oh my goodness, there's nothing you're going to do to that snare that Matt Finn didn't already do, my friends. Wind up and hit it.
Thank you very much for helping that way. Without you guys, we couldn't have done it. I want to thank 97X, Dwyer and Michaels, for talking about the jam. I think 3 or 4 days leading up to the show. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks, of course, to the audience. You guys were great. It was terrific, and I really love all you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
And everybody that was there, everybody that listens to the podcast, I greatly appreciate having you and being able to do these types of things for you. So thank you.
It reminded me how quickly things can change in life. I'm looking at a bunch of friends tonight, and, you know, we could wake up tomorrow and one of us could be gone, you know? So, I just want to say that I love everybody here. Thank you very much for being my friend and being a part of my circle. I am very fortunate to be in the music scene here, and we are all very lucky. We are the lucky ones because we have been given a gift. And that gift is music.
There was a moment of the night, at the end of the night, when we got up and we played Prince song, you know, because Prince had just passed a couple days before the the jam, we just decided that we'd do Purple Rain, you know. So we got Chris Avey up there, got Dave Abdo, Kenny was on drums, Jeff Hazen was playing guitar, I think, and then Matt Finn and Travis were at a mic, and they were trying to make me sing it, and I ended up singing some of it, but there was a certain energy. You could see Travis when he's standing there trying to do the backups to this Prince song. I mean, Matt was just wailing on it. You know, he's a drummer, so he's over there just doing his best. But you could just feel the moment.
Like Brian was saying at the end of the Prince tribute song, I have the best friends in the world. It makes you feel like you have the best friends in the world, and you might be right.
If you look at Travis's face and you look at the way that we're all interacting on stage, you can tell that we're really lucky here to have a family like this. Don't overlook it. It is special. And I'm proud to be a part of it. When I say that I'm from the Quad Cities, I'm proud of that, because there's so many others here that make me proud of that. And that's why I said that I have the best friends in the world.